What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to episode number 13 now of the Leeds United career mode here on YouTube. This is a 19-minute episode. There's nothing special for that. The main reason why it's gone to 19 minutes is simply because we are in the January transfer window, and there's so much to show you during this episode that I'm going to have to try and cram it all into this one episode and give it to you guys here on YouTube. So, you can see the changes we are making before we head into the first game of the episode, which is coincidentally against Aston Villa, who we have just played in the last episode as well. So, I've noticed this about FIFA around Christmas time into January. They actually put a number of fixtures that are actually the same fixture, just the opposite. So basically, we played Aston Villa last episode in the first game of that one. We're playing them here again, literally 2 games later in the next episode of career mode. So it's really frustrating the fact that we're playing them in such short notice, but I suppose it spices things up a bit because again, they are sitting top 2, and if we are serious about chasing down the top 2, we have to make sure we beat them here. We deserved to beat them last game, or last episode rather, when we were on top form in that game and we had pretty much all of the strikes on goal. We had most of the possession. We were dominating that one at home. This time we go to their playing field though. This time we're at Villa Park. We are taking on the mighty Villa, as they used to be called, not so mighty now, down in the Championship. Looking to bounce straight back up to the Premier League though, and they are currently doing that by sitting at top of the table. We deserve to beat them last game. Let's see if we can do it here in the first one, as that is the league table. 17 wins for Villa. We're sat down on 12, so there's 5 games separates us in terms of wins. We've also drawn more games than they have as well, and I think we've lost 1 more game than they have. So we've actually lost 2 games all season long so far. So in many seasons, that's enough to actually get you the title. But the problem we've got is we're drawing too many games. That's something I want to try and get away from. We obviously drew the game last time against Villa at home, so I wanted to try and get ourselves a win here at Villa Park. It was never going to be easy on Legendary, obviously. Villa are a solid side. They have pretty much the same team as what we played them last episode with. It's exactly the same, I think. I don't think there's any changes to their side, pretty much, in terms of anybody out of that side. I could be wrong there, though, so don't take that as the final thing. I think Guested might have played last time instead of Ross McCormack, who is obviously formerly of Leeds United as well. A number of these Championship players we are coming across are all formerly of Leeds United. I think we've met Johnny Howson at Norwich. Obviously McCormack there. Then we've got, I do believe, Jermaine Beckford in the last episode as well against Preston North End. You know, there's a number of players in the Championship and around the Championship that are actually formerly of Leeds United, which isn't surprising in all honesty, because United seem to be a selling club recent years. They never used to be like that, but obviously they hit debt and stuff like that, and it turned them into a selling club, which is very unfortunate. And that's the way that they are probably going to go in real life. You know, the likes of Ronaldo Vieira, who is a talented kid, maybe leaving the club pretty damn soon in terms of not being able to sign a new contract because of the fact that Leeds United just can't quite keep hold of him and his ambitions. And they have turned into a selling club, which is very disappointing to see. Obviously, Green, I think yes, Green. Joel Green isn't a real player. He is our youth academy prospect. So Leeds United in real life don't have to worry about losing him. But we do in this career mode, so that's a very unfortunate thing. I do not want to lose this boy. I think he's going to be a star in the future, as you've seen from previous episodes. First chance would fall our way, though, in the 14th minute of this one. Charlie Taylor whipping the ball into a very dangerous area. And who else but Alex Iwobi it was, actually, with the headed goal. One of the things I didn't expect to say in the series was Alex Iwobi getting a headed goal in this series. And that's exactly what he's done here to put us 1-0 up in this game. It was literally our first chance of the game, and we managed to take it with full force and put it in the back of the net. So not Alex Hunter. Why have I called him Alex Hunter? That's because I've just done a 100 Club recording. So yeah, Alex Iwobi rather, putting it as a 0-0 up there in the game. But, as I'm sure you've heard the term, you're most vulnerable when you've just scored. That's exactly what happened here, as Burnley would then create themselves their first chance of the game. 22 minutes in, and yeah, I said about that the better really. It was poor defending from me. I dragged too many players out of position, and they exploited me in all honesty. And it was very, very good to see the fact that the computer were creating chances now against me, because that's what we didn't have on World Class. We've now got it on Legendary as we managed to get ourselves another chance in this one, the 24th minute of the game, with Kamar Roof unfortunately hitting his strike straight at the goalkeeper. From the resulting corner, we're going to whip this in, and for the second time in the game, Alex Iwobi has had a header at goal, but this one goes unfortunately wide for us here in the 28th minute of this one, as we could have easily been 2-1 up there. A very good save, and then Iwobi missing that headed chance as the goalkeeper makes an error here, tries to play it out of the back, and it's a very poor touch, I think, from Sissoko in the end. Joel Green pounces on it, but unfortunately his strike goes wide of the post. So the young man was close to making it 2-1, but his strike at the end of the day wasn't good enough to beat the goalkeeper. As we went into half-time, leading the game and in control again, like we were in the other game against Villa in the last episode. But we could have easily seen ourselves a goal down, 2-1 down rather, in this game at 50 minutes as McCormack gets through on goal. But a very good save by Robert Green in goal keeps us in this game, as that could have been 2-1 to Villa, completely against the run of play. They wouldn't have deserved it, but at the end of the day, football can be a cruel mistress sometimes, and that could have gone so badly for us. Thankfully, it didn't, though, as in the 82nd minute of the game, Joel Green trying to work some space for himself. The defender was on me so tightly that I couldn't actually get myself any chance to hit it with Joel Green. In the end, we managed to strike it a goal with Ronaldo Vieira, but a very good save again by the Villa goalkeeper. I'm not sure who it is in the Villa net actually, so I won't actually try and guess. But we whip the corner in, and you're going to see Joel Green. Surely this is the chance that he wanted, but unfortunately it was cleared off the line. He could have had the final say in the game. That was a very important match for us to try and get ourselves more points in the division and try and move ourselves closer to the top 2. Joel Green could have had the final say, but for a goal line clearance, as Villa rode their luck entirely through the game. As you can see, we were miles better side. They had more possession, but what we did with the possession, we actually created chances, and we were the 10 times the better side in that one. Unfortunately, though, we only drew the game by a goal apiece. And I go back to my original point of football being a cruel mistress, because that's twice now within 2 episodes that we've played Villa, and we've only drew them, we've drawn with them both times there. We've deserved the win in both games, but unfortunately, we haven't managed to get anything out of it other than a point out of both games. So we've got 2 points out of a possible 6, and in my opinion, we should have had the full 6 points in both of those games. We were the miles better side, but Villa held their luck and they rode it as far as they could into the game, and thankfully for them, they managed to get the results that they wanted out of it, because at the end of the day, that's all they deserved, was a draw at most. We deserved both wins, but unfortunately we didn't get that. I'm still happy to get 2 draws though against the side that currently sat top of the table. If you'd given me that before we went into the games, I'd have taken it with both hands, but I don't think that we're going to get a better chance to win 2 games of football all season long. We were dominant in both those games. Had it have not been for that goal line clearance there when Joel Green has that effort on goal, we would have won that game as well. And Joel Green would have had the final say in a very, very solid, tough game it was in terms of a game of football. Villa had a couple of chances themselves to get themselves away with the win, but they didn't manage it. We didn't manage it either. So again, twice we've drawn with them, and that's so disappointing in terms of how we played. But like I said, if you'd given me that at the start of the episode or the start of the season, knowing that they would be top, I'd have taken both those draws. As we had some training there, Joel Green ever so close to hitting that 70 now. He's actually, I think, 68. I think Ronaldo Vieira as well gone up to a 71 as well. So that's very nice to see that both of those guys are growing pretty well. And we went into the pre-contract signing aspect of the episode. So you can see what I'm doing here. I'll just explain a little bit about why I chose each player and what I was thinking when I went for this. Obviously, we've just had that information in the last episode that Stuart Taylor wants to leave the club. So I did transfer list him, and I wanted to try and get myself a replacement ASAP signed up. But that meant if we did go for Mano there, as you've seen with that left back that we offered a contract to, he wouldn't be able to come until the end of the season, or the beginning of next season, which means we'll be without a left back for the next 6 months if we get an offer in for Stuart Taylor during this episode. So if that's the case, I'll be 6 months without a left back. But if we don't get an offer for Joel Green, or for Stuart Taylor, sorry, then we will be able to keep him for the next 6 months and then just replace him with Mano once Mano comes in if he accepts his contract. Venanita was one of the players I looked at as well. I think Augusto as well, who is only 23 years of age, so he looks very good for a 23 years of age player. I don't think you can actually see their overalls here because they play in a weird league, but I've actually scouted them, and I do know their overalls going into this. I think Augusto's about a 74, and I think Costinha's about a 74 as well. Venanita was a 75 overall player as well, obviously at Newcastle currently, who are sat in the Championship with us. I decided to put an offer in here for Sebastian Larsson, but when I did this, it was either going to be Larsson or Venanita. I was going to choose between the two of them. I wasn't going to get both, it was one or the other. Whoever it didn't accept would be the one who would be missing out, and I wasn't going to offer them another contract. So, I offer them both contract. You're going to see in the episode who actually accepts and who doesn't, and we'll see who comes into the club. Either one of them I'm not too bothered about. They won't be playing first team football at the club. That's why I haven't put them as given them a squad role just yet. Lasanga as well here, a striker. Very, very quick. We do need to improve his finishing though if he does come into the club, because he doesn't have greatest of finishing. You can see I scouted him. He's got very good physical stats but not too great technical. So if he does come into the club, we will be having to train his finishing up and stuff like that. I also went in for the goalkeeper here because Silvestri told me during the episode that he wanted to leave club because he wasn't getting played enough football, and the board basically are saying to me, try and sell him if you can. So that is another player that I was looking at, Stevanovic, to come into the side and be a backup goalkeeper as Rob Green is knocking on, or maybe even become the first team goalkeeper, depending on ratings wise and if Rob Green decreases any more than he is. Callas as well, 23 years of age, obviously formerly of Chelsea, now at Fulham. His contract is expiring at Fulham, so we offered him a deal to come into Ellen Road and play his football here. Very, very solid choice for a backup. He can play centre-back, he can play right-back, so I was happy with that one. He was one of the guys that I was looking at and thinking, yeah, you know, if we get Callas into the club, a bit of ex-Premier League quality, or rather, he didn't really play in the Premier League, but he was a solid Premier League side in Chelsea, so he would have had access to their training facilities, obviously played with the better players, so he'll know his stuff around a football pitch. Not only that, but he's a very versatile player, so that's why I was looking at Callas, and I decided to give him an offer as well. And that was all the players that we went for there with pre-contracts as we went into the second game of this episode against Rotherham here, which was a very interesting one as well. Because if you remember a couple of episodes ago, Rotherham actually beat us by 2-1 in the game. They were dominant and we deserved to lose that game. I took them very lightly when we went into their ground and played there, and we got absolutely smashed for it. So, coming to Ellen Road, or the East Point Arena as it's also known as, in terms of FIFA, because that was my mistake for not replacing it, or I thought I renamed it, but I didn't in the end. So that's again my mistake. Coming to Ellen Road here, / the East Point Arena, it was going to be interesting to see how they would get on when they came to our ground. I wasn't going to take them lightly like I did in the first game we played against them in the season. I think the commentator also picked up on it during the clips that you're going to see. He actually mentioned the fact that they were looking to do the double over us, but I was not prepared to let that happen. As you can see, they spoke about Newcastle again for the utmost time in this series, because they just seem to always be going on about Newcastle and the poor run of form that they're having. Sat in 7th place, which is actually out of the playoffs at the moment. We're sat pretty in 3rd, still chasing that top 2 spot, but it's looking unlikely coming towards the end of the season now that we will be able to finish in the top 2. So if we do get the top 6, means we'll be in the playoffs, and I will have to try and win my way up to the Premier League rather than finishing in automatic promotion. So that was the side we named actually going into this game against Rotherham here. A very strong team, one that should be beating Rotherham with comfort. But last time I said that, we got beaten by 2-1, and they were dominant, and it could have easily been more than 2 goals. So I did have to be careful coming into this game, and I was kind of wary, but at the same time I just wanted performance. Last time we played Rotherham, we actually played it on World Class and they beat me 2-1. This game is on Legendary, so if we play it on Legendary and we got beaten on World Class, what does that tell you that could happen here? If we could get an absolute goal route of a game against Rotherham, it could be an absolute smashing that we get here. I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case. That was the team that they named rather, and I didn't recognise any players in that side at all. Just like last time, I didn't recognise any players in the Rotherham team last time, and they won the game. So let's not take them too lightly in this one, because last time I did that, it didn't go too well. As you can see, we named Pablo Hernandez, as per usual, the main man in that pitch. He's been so good for us all season long, and he's just been a breath of fresh air. When I've needed goals, he's popped up in the right position to score them. He's just been an unbelievable player for us so far this series. As we kicked off for the second time against Rotherham here, looking for a better result than we had last time. And the first chance would fall our way in the 8th minute of this game. Moat, nice work with him, and I do believe it was Diarraga. But Diarraga couldn't, unfortunately, repeat his heroics that he did a few episodes, or it might have been last episode, when he managed to put the ball in the back of the net with that weaker left foot. This one being dragged agonisingly wide. 28 minutes into it now as we managed to create our second chance of the game across to the back post, where Chris Wood, who else, is waiting in the area, and this time it's an actual man I would expect to score a header. Unlike Alex Iwobi in the last game, Chris Wood actually is the one who scores it in this one. So someone I'd expect to score a header in this one, and he does it just that, which makes it 1-0 to us in the game. I do believe it was about 30-something minutes into the game, that one actually. 44 minutes into the game now, or might be the second half. Yeah, it's 47 minutes into, rather. Rotherham would have their first chance of the game as they crossed it in, cleared away once by us, but it's not dealt with perfectly by us, and we don't actually clear the ball very well at all. Rotherham coming forward again down the left-hand side and looking for another cross, just like they did the last time in this quick clip here. They cross it in towards the box, and as you can see there in the centre of the box, Bartley goes down as if he's been fouled, and the unmarked man simply brushes that past. I do believe it's Rob Green in goal. But I show you in an instant replay here, Bartley was actually fouled. You're going to see here in an instant replay as I slow it down, Bartley's trying to mark his man. It's a bit of a coming together. Is that a foul? I don't know. But he left Frecklington open in the box, and he simply just placed that past Rob Green as the ball came to him to make it 1-1. Rotherham, I didn't feel deserved to be back in this game. They hadn't really had anything. But as soon as they got that goal, it was like a breath of fresh air to them, because they then came forward again and again. The first chance coming here in the 58th minute of the game. Somehow I didn't manage to make a tackle. I have no idea how he mugged Janssen off that badly. The strop was really poor, but in the end Rob Green had to make a very good save. Corner comes in, whipped it into a dangerous area where the man is waiting, and another fantastic save by Rob Green denies them a goal in this one as they get another corner, whipping it in again to the similar area, danger area again, to the same guy I actually think, but this time his header is off target as we will create our second, or rather, we would create a chance for ourselves to go at 2-0 up in this one. Dallas, very nicely worked down the left-hand side. Unfortunately, the ball didn't really go to the position I wanted it to go into. It sent him a bit wide there. So we give it back to Diarraga, who gives it to Moat. Moat now into a very good position, but on that weaker right foot, I decided not to strike it. Giving it to Pablo Hernandez. Hernandez, Mr. Consistent all series long. The man that we can rely on to get our goals, in all honesty. And he did just that. Firing into the bottom corner. 84 minutes into this one to make it Leeds United 2, Rotherham United 1 in a game that was an absolutely wonder game to play. I really enjoyed playing this game, in all honesty. Yes, I didn't enjoy the fact that we conceded the way we did, but in terms of a game, this one had all I wanted out of it. It was a very action-packed game, end-to-end stuff. It wasn't sat back. There was not just literally 2 shots in the entire game. It was a very fun game to play as well, as we would get a third goal for ourselves as they committed men forward. Chris Wood Not known for his pace, but he gets in behind the defence there after winning it back from the centre-back. Makes it 3 in off the post. He says, thank you very much. Thanks for my second goal in the game as well, as we would defeat Rotherham by 3 goals to 1. Very good result here because, like I said, I didn't want to take them too lightly. I didn't want to repeat what happened last time we played them. That was not what I was looking for. What I was looking for here was for us to control the game like we've done against Villa in the last 2 games we played against them. Was also to try and create chances, which we did in the game, and we took a few of them. Not only that, but I wanted us to be sound defensively. Now, if you take away what happened to Bartley, we get a clean sheet here. Yes, we possibly didn't deserve it because, you know, when they got that breath of fresh air and got that first goal that they came forward again and again and almost scored 2 goals, or even possibly 3 goals. They had 3 chances after that initial goal that they scored. And if Rob Green doesn't make those saves, it's a different game. You know, they go 2-1 up. I'm chasing it, which thankfully that didn't happen because Rob Green did make those saves, which meant that we didn't have to chase the game. So if they score those, though, it's a totally different game, and then I'm chasing it. But thankfully that wasn't the case today. You're going to see it was a very close affair. 8 shots for us, 4 shots for them. 5 on target our way, 3 on target for them, though. So it was a very interesting game, to say the least. We managed to win it by 3 goals to 1, and the scoreline doesn't really reflect how that game went because it looks like we had a comfortable 2-goal margin. But that 2-goal margin didn't come in until the 82nd minute when we managed to make it 2-1. Then the 88th minute when we managed to make it 3 with Chris Wood. So very entertaining stuff there as we played Rotherham for the 2nd time this season. And I really enjoyed playing that game, in all honesty. As you can see, Mano accepts his contract. He says, yeah, I'll come and play for you at Ellen Road. The backup left-back, or rather our new left-back, who's going to play left-back for us there, into the club. As you can see, Stuart Taylor will be departing the club at the end of the season, no matter what happens here, whether we get an offer for him or if he leaves on a pre-contract. As you can see, a number of players accepting their deals. I decided to stall this Fernandinho deal just to see what Seb Larsson said. And Larsson actually came back and said that he wasn't interested in joining us here at Leeds United, which is a bit unfortunate. But it means that we'll just sign Fernandinho instead of Larsson, which is the thing that I was going to do. It was one or the other, and I wasn't bothered. Whoever said yes, I was happy to take them both. And if I'd had the coins, or rather, not the coins, this is an ultimate team. If I'd have had the wage, rather, I would have taken both players on probably, and just tried to revamp our side moving into the next season if we do go into the Premier League. Obviously, I need that little bit of quality. That's what I was expecting Larsson to bring, that little bit of Premier League experience, Premier League quality if we did get up there. And even if we didn't, he'd definitely be an unbelievable player for the Championship. As you can see, a number of players declined their initial contract, so I offered them a squad role just to see what they would come back and say to that. Costinha, I think, was one of them. I think we also had Lasanga as well. And there was one more, I think it might have been the goalkeeper who actually declined his contract. We accept the Anita deal, there you go, as he comes in and becomes, I do believe, our 4th signing in this January transfer window on a pre-contract. Then we had an offer from Burnley to take Charlie Taylor. Why do I keep saying Stuart? I keep saying Stuart Taylor. I'm sure I've said Stuart throughout this entire episode. I meant Charlie Taylor. I really have apologised. I'm pretty sure I've called him Stuart throughout the entire series, and I should know it's Charlie Taylor because I do live in Leeds, and I knew it was Charlie Taylor, so I really apologise for saying Stuart. The reason I said Stuart is there's a goalkeeper in there called Stuart Taylor. That's where I've got it from. Anyways, I do apologise for that. Charlie Taylor, we haven't just, made up a player. Charlie Taylor will be departing the club as we had an offer for $2.5 million from Burnley, which we instantly accepted. I was like, yep, you know what, take him off my hands. 400k less than he's worth, I'll take that when you could get him on a free deal in 6 months' time. Obviously, Burnley wanted the deal done now, but I was only expected to honestly get about 1.5 million for him. As you can see, we inquired about Jordan Abita here as a backup left-back for the 6 months that we would have waiting for Mano to come into the side. You're going to see as well, we actually offered them £1.3 million, ready to see if that deal will come through. He's in bad form, so I thought I'll offer a bit cheaper, see if we can get him into the side, and if we can, then great. If we can't, then that'll just have to do, and I may have to just use a separate left-back as we wait. I think it's Mano coming into the side to be our #1 left-back at the club. You can see I'm listing some players up for sale here as well. There's a number of players that I just wasn't interested in keeping at Leeds United, and obviously I've got to make way for a number of players coming in terms of our squad size, as we only have, I do believe, about 14 places left in our squad size, so we have to reduce the squad size a little bit. So I just basically transfer listed the players that I wasn't interested in keeping. There's a number of players as well that I'm definitely interested in keeping, and a few of them will be leaving the club as they are only loaned into us at the moment. We are coming towards the end of this episode, though. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to drop that like button. Apologies if this episode has been a bit rushed or a bit like me talking really fast. There's 19 minutes to go through and it can be really draining on the voice. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed. I've been Danny and I'm out. Peace.